the whole faith versus fear spectrum, right? With uncertainties in business, with uncertainties in the world, with uncertainties with COVID, with just the uncertainties of what your kids are going to do and how they're going to show up and what's going to change about them. And there's so much uncertainty in the world. The world is constantly changing, and we have control of none of it. Really, I mean, what do we have control of? Just our choices and how we react to things that are happening around us. Very little do we have control of. And so this year, in some respects, has been one of the more challenging years that we've had as a family, and even in business. Yeah, and especially in business, we had some turbulence and turmoil and shifting priorities, and me having to pivot personally, and the impacts that that had in the business, and all of that. And my reaction was just to trust that it was all happening for a reason. And when I think about faith, it's not knowing why something is going on when it doesn't feel exactly easy, but trusting that it's happening for the right reason, that there's a bigger reason to not retreat from what's happening, I guess is the best way of saying it. So when a lot of the world is in a fear position right now, this is not a political statement, it just seems like there's a lot of fear that's being preached. I urge you to do whatever you need to do to shift over to more of a faith. And I do this through a bunch of different practices. I failed here recently by watching a little bit too much news. So that is not the way to have more faith, is to get wrapped up in the news. There's a whole separate podcast on that. But as it relates to 2021 and really going into 2022, just sit with yourself for a little bit, a few moments, to really think about where, and it's not necessarily a me coming at you with like my faith, like me being a Christian, as much as just, do you have faith that things are going to work out for the best, versus are you fearful and worried and anxious all the time that things aren't going to work out? That's what I talk about when I'm talking about faith versus fear. For me, faith, it is something different. It is literally faith in something way bigger than me. God has a plan for me specifically, and is going to use me very intentionally as an instrument to advance his kingdom. Doesn't have to mean that for you, right? It's faith that if something's going on, there's a greater purpose around it. And the fear part of it is it's just not good, and it's anxious and worry, and it can create problems in relationships, problems in your physical body.